The Milwaukee Bucks managed to pull a rabbit out of their hat, shipping out Jrue Holiday and Grayson Allen in a three-team trade that landed them Damian Lillard. For the Bucks, this trade gives them a major talent upgrade that they desperately needed. They're coming off an extremely disappointing playoff exit where they lost to the Miami Heat in the first round in just 5 games. Giannis hinted over the offseason multiple times that he's a potential flight risk if something major doesn't happen, and acquiring Dame could be the move that keeps the Greek Freak in Wisconsin long term. It's important to remember that despite the disappointing playoff loss, the Bucks were one of the top teams in the NBA last year. They won a league-best 58 games, finished as the 1 seed, and were the odds-on favorite to win the championship right at the start of the playoffs. Now they've made the ultimate upgrade at point guard by replacing Jrue Holiday with Damian Lillard, a player that most would consider a top 10 player in today's NBA. This video will break down how adding Dame will turn the Milwaukee Bucks into NBA champions. Before we talk about how Damian Lillard will transform the Milwaukee Bucks, we have to discuss Jrue Holiday and why I felt the Bucks needed to move on from him. Now, to Jrue's credit, he's coming off a season where he made the All-Star team for the second time in his career. But as good as Jrue Holiday is in the regular season, he consistently shoots the ball poorly in the postseason. In 40 playoff games for the Bucks, Holiday averaged 18 points and 8 assists per game, but on just 39% shooting from the field and 30% from deep. And Holiday's horrible shooting was a major reason the Bucks lost to the Heat in just 5 games. A big reason for Jrue's inefficiency is his poor shot selection. He has a bad tendency to keep firing off tough off-the-dribble threes despite being cold from deep. But even when he did get open looks, he struggles to knock them down. In the Heat series, he took a ton of threes, attempting over 8 a game, but he shot them at just 28%. He's also got a very limited off-the-dribble game, which led to some ugly possessions. On this play, Bam Adebayo ends up on Jrue Holiday, but Jrue can't take advantage of the mismatch. He tries to drive by Bam and turns it into a post-up, then puts up a garbage layup that misses. This time it's Max Strus who Jrue Holiday can't score against. He goes between his legs but can't get the blow-by, then puts up a tough pull-up jumper that misses. Here in crunch time, the Bucks desperately need a bucket with just a 5-point lead with 4 minutes left in the game. After giving Jrue Holiday a double screen, he goes to his step-back three-pointer, which hasn't been working all night. After nearly losing it, he gets it back and tries to post up Kyle Lowry. After backing him down, he gets stripped of the ball, which turns into a fast break for the Miami Heat. A brutal turnover with the game on the line. At this point of the game, the Miami Heat have the lead with 58 seconds left, and the Bucks really need a basket. Giannis drives the ball and kicks it out to Jrue Holiday, who coughs it up again. And this turnover was pretty much the nail in the coffin, as the Miami Heat would take a commanding 3-1 series lead in the series. Overall, Jrue Holiday's offensive bag is pretty weak compared to the other elite point guards. He doesn't have strong counter moves, which causes his drives to turn into post-ups, and his outside shot always abandons him come postseason. This is why he struggles to score against elite defenders. In spite of Jrue's excellent defense and playmaking abilities, his inefficiency really held Milwaukee back. After another playoffs where Holiday completely crapped the bed, it's no wonder why the Bucks front office was ready to trade him. So now that we've discussed why Jrue Holiday needed to go, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the video by discussing how Damian Lillard will impact the Bucks. Dame had his statistically best season last year, which largely went under the radar due to Portland being such an awful team. He put up a career-high 32 points per game, and the increased usage rate didn't come at the expense of efficiency, as he also shot the ball at a career-high 64% true shooting percentage. So what makes Dame such a dynamic offensive player? Let's start off with his pick-and-roll play. He's one of the best pull-up three-point shooters in the league, so if the big man doesn't step up high to get a hand up, this shot is automatic. And Dame is such a tough shot maker that he can hit these even when heavily contested. And he can even hit threes from way downtown. The second Dame enters half court, he's within his range. In order to take away pull-up threes out of the pick and roll, defending big men have to step up high. But Dame is one of the quickest guards in the league and can easily blow by most big men and get all the way to the rim. And while Dame is known for his elite shooting, he's also got one of the best layup packages in the league. And his finishes aren't always below the rim. His jumping ability allows him to put defenders on a poster. Dame's pick and roll scoring allows him to set up the roll man, and Jusuf Nurkic has been one of the top beneficiaries of Dame's passing. I can imagine that the pick and roll partnership between Dame and Giannis will murder opposing teams. The Bucks don't use Giannis as a screener that much, but he's an amazing roll man. He's a great finisher when rolling to the basket, and his size and athleticism allows him to catch lobs and throw it down. A Dame and Giannis pick and roll should easily be one of the most unstoppable plays in the NBA next season. Dame is an incredibly tough cover in the two-man game, but if the defense focus too much on stopping Dame, Giannis will roll to the basket and get plenty of easy dunks and lobs. Giannis and Dame pick and rolls should generate great shots for the whole team as well. Giannis is an underrated passer. He consistently makes the right reads when drawing help defense to find the open man, whether it's kicking the ball out to the open shooter or making the dump-off pass to the open player inside. On this Giannis and Chris Middleton pick and roll, Giannis catches it, and notice how Kevin Love has left his man to help out on the Giannis drive. This allows Brook Lopez to cut to the basket, and Giannis finds him for the easy layup. Dame and Giannis pick and rolls should get Lopez plenty of easy baskets from Lopez cutting to the basket after Giannis is doubled. And if teams send a help defender on Lopez, then Giannis can kick the ball out and find the open shooter. Overall, the Dame pick and roll attack will transform the Bucks offense. And while Dame is deadly in pick and rolls, he's also elite in isolation. He's one of the best players in the NBA at creating his own shot off the bounce, often using the step back. He usually gets to his step back jumper by using a pound dribble to create just enough space, but oftentimes he'll attack, get defenders turning around to cut off his drive, then step back to create the separation needed to get his shot off. A lot of his ISO plays also turn to drives to the rim. Not only is he one of the best finishers, but he also draws a lot of contact on his drives. Last season, he took 10 free throw attempts per game and shot an insane 91% on his free throw attempts. He could take over games with his scoring pretty much any times he wants, which will make him a godsend for a Milwaukee Bucks team that desperately needed another elite shot creator next to Giannis. Damian Lillard is also incredibly clutch, which is another area where he's going to be a big help. Going back to the Heat series, games 4 and 5 were very winnable games, but they were lost in the closing minutes. The Bucks also blew double-digit leads in the fourth quarter in both games. This was largely due to the Bucks not having a great closer, while Jimmy Butler was on an absolute rampage. I already mentioned earlier in the video how Jrue Holiday was a disaster, but Giannis wasn't good in the clutch either. His inability to make in jumpers makes him predictable, as defenses know he's going to the basket, and in the last possessions of games, refs tend not to call fouls. Chris Middleton was the Bucks' main go-to guy in the clutch when they won the title, but they barely utilized him late in games in last season's playoffs, and when he did get opportunities to shoot the ball, he struggled. Overall, the Bucks were without a good closer, and this is why they went long stretches in the fourth quarter without scoring. Damian Lillard, on the other hand, has consistently been one of the most clutch players in the NBA throughout his career. He's hit plenty of game-winning shots, not just in the regular season, but also in the playoffs. He sent teams on early vacations with his ability to hit ridiculous shots in the big-time moments.
Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
With Dame now in the lineup, the Bucks have an elite closer to run the offense in crunch time, which should make them much better at finishing games. Between Dame and Giannis, the Bucks are one of the few teams in the league that have two legit superstars. But let's not forget that they also have a third star in Chris Middleton. Middleton only played 33 games last season coming off injury, but he started to heat up in the last 10 games of the regular season. And in the playoffs, Chris returned to all-star form, averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on excellent shooting splits in the Heat series. Chris Middleton's excellent playoff performance is a great sign for the Bucks. When at his best, he's not only an amazing scorer, but he also provides Milwaukee another ball handler that could create easy shots for his teammates. Having a healthy Chris Middleton next to Dame and Giannis next season will make the Bucks an absolute juggernaut. Summing things up, the Bucks are in a great position with NBA training camp just days away. After trading for Damian Lillard, this Milwaukee Bucks team looks damn scary. Now they should easily be the favorite to win the title. Of course, plenty of stacked teams have failed to go all the way throughout NBA history, with injuries oftentimes being the culprit. But if the Bucks can remain healthy throughout the playoffs, they should win their third championship in franchise history. But what do you think? Will the Milwaukee Bucks win the championship next season? Let me see your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more high quality content just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching and have an amazing rest of your day.